They thought they knew your story, didn't they? They saw the struggles, the setbacks, the quiet moments of what they assumed was defeat. They hurled their judgments like small, sharp rocks, fully expecting you to trip and fall, to crumble under the weight of their low expectations. But what they failed to grasp is the profound, almost spiritual alchemy that operates within your journey. The universe, in its perfect, silent wisdom, has a magnificent and consistent habit of reforging those stones of critique into the very steps of your personal ascent. It's a subtle yet undeniable truth that the individuals who intended to bury you alive, the ones who sought to smother your light and silence your voice, forgot the most fundamental law of nature. A seed must be planted in the dark soil to grow. Now you are not just surviving, you are ascending, and the volume of your growth, the sheer presence of your expanding spirit, is a sound they simply cannot tolerate. The discomfort and envy they feel are not random emotional occurrences. This is the consequence of cosmic balance, an ancient, programmed force that ensures every act of betrayal is eventually rectified, and every whisper of manipulation is brought into the glaring light of accountability. There is a perfect symmetry to life, a kind of internal, spiritual bookkeeping that always demands that debts be paid. Those who meticulously plotted to witness your downfall are now finding themselves subtly, yet inevitably, being constrained by the very same destructive energy they projected onto you. The critics, the manipulators, and the naysayers believed themselves to be strategic, aiming to push you to the brink, desiring to see you utterly collapse. They wanted to see you spiral into self, doubt, and brokenness. Yet with every particle of darkness they threw your way, something extraordinary occurred. Your internal light, your alignment with your true destiny, only intensified. Their envy, their carefully orchestrated sabotage, didn't just fail. It became the very foundation, the unshakable platform upon which you are now visibly rising. They spoke your name constantly, hoping to tarnish your image and reputation, but all they achieved was unknowingly amplifying your weight and significance in the spiritual and temporal realm. Chosen ones, understand this deep truth. Your current detachment is a more potent weapon than any argument you could make. Your silence is now a living echo that profoundly haunts them. Your refusal to react has turned you into a mirror, a surface they cannot help but gaze into. And what that reflection shows them is everything they'll never possess: genuine peace, unearned authority, and true internal fulfillment. You did more than just endure the chaos and drama they created. You seamlessly integrated it into your personal evolution and ultimate design. You stand as living, undeniable proof that immense pressure does not merely crush the weak. For the right spirit, pressure transforms. What you are about to receive isn't merely a positive message or a nice piece of advice. Consider it a direct, vibrational signal sent to the core of your spirit. A command to rise and occupy the space that was always intended for you. This is the precise moment when the immense, hidden power that resides deep within your being is awakened from its long slumber. The individuals who so casually and foolishly underestimated your capacity are about to become unwilling witnesses to the dramatic, world-shifting consequences of a silent, focused force deciding it's time to move. Before we fully engage with this powerful energy, lock in with us now. Hit that like button to send a wave of focused, amplifying energy out into the world. Be sure to subscribe to consciously align yourself with this powerful, transformative frequency. And if you know, deep in your soul, that you were not engineered to merely fade into the background, if you know you were created to disrupt stagnant patterns and cause necessary change, then drop the number 88 into the comments section below. The world, already saturated with shallow noise and meaningless chatter, has had enough of the distractions. The stage is set. The time for waiting is over. It's your move now. Let's activate. You must cease moving through the world with the crippling assumption that you are without strength. The true source of your power, the one that can never be taken away, was strategically buried inside you all along, awaiting activation. The concept of power has been dangerously, and repeatedly misunderstood by the external world. Society flaunts its version of power through ostentatious gold chains, aggressive and loud declarations, meaningless, shiny corporate titles, and fleeting social media vanity metrics. They perpetuate the lie that power equates to dominance, massive personal wealth, or simply being feared by others. But if that external definition of power held any authentic weight, ask yourself, why do the loudest, most outwardly dominant individuals still carry an unmistakable air of internal emptiness? Why do their seemingly strong exteriors instantly crumble and dissolve the moment they are faced with true silence or genuine scrutiny? The simple yet profound answer is that what the world erroneously labels as power is nothing more than insecurity and noise, meticulously dressed up in a costume of borrowed confidence. Real power, the kind you possess, moves with the silent authority of a deep current. It walks with an unshakable calmness and has absolutely zero need for a spotlight, a megaphone, or an introduction to instantly shift the atmosphere of an entire room. Genuine, authentic power never feels the need to announce its presence. Its only requirement is to change everything it touches and influences. Consider this radical thought. If all authentic power truly emanated from social status, brute strength, or inherited titles, how is it consistently true that the most humble, seemingly underestimated people in history are the very ones who end up entirely rewriting the historical narrative? Think deeply about the quiet kid, the family black sheep, or the perennial outsider. They were routinely overlooked, ignored, and dismissed by their contemporaries. Yet the deep internal fire of conviction and vision they carried was the real existential threat to the status quo. It wasn't the loudness of their voices that was dangerous, but the clarity of their vision. It wasn't the size of their muscles that mattered, but the unyielding strength of their mindset. This is because true, authentic power is not about exerting control over others. It is fundamentally about alignment. It's about perfect alignment with your designated purpose, your unique life path, and the powerful, sustaining energy this universe has been storing up, specifically for your use, since the day of your birth. Chosen one, the very reason the enemy could not permanently break your spirit is the exact same reason they have always deeply feared you. You refused to engage in their petty, chaotic games. You didn't stoop to fight dirty, but you moved with strategic intelligence. You didn't waste your energy on screaming matches. Instead, you executed a seismic shift in position and focus. While they were expending all their energy throwing sharp stones of criticism and negativity, you were calmly and efficiently building an empire from the literal dust they created. The power that genuinely originates from within your soul has no need for a dramatic show or public display. Its movement alone creates massive, unstoppable shock waves in the world. Look to the examples of those who successfully rose from absolute nothingness, the ultimate survivors, the groundbreaking visionaries, the ones who were brutally buried under a mountain of pain but still managed to gloriously bloom. Their deep, foundational power was not a passive inheritance. It was an intentional, spiritual activation. They placed their complete trust in their personal process, held an unwavering belief in something far greater and more significant than the immediate difficult moment, and masterfully used every single setback and obstacle as a carefully designed setup for their next success. That is precisely you, and that is why your methods are and always will be incomprehensible to them, because they simply cannot predict or control a dynamic force that refuses to operate out of the energy of fear. Power is not a synonym for mere strength. It is a brilliant combination of strategy, silence, and absolute self-control. When unexpected chaos is suddenly hurled in your direction, the greater your capacity to remain calm and collected under immense fire, the more profoundly dangerous and unassailable you become to the opposition. You have now reached a state of being where you are truly unshakable. You are not mindlessly reacting to every stimulus. You are purposefully recalibrating your focus. You are not just struggling to survive. You are actively shifting entire atmospheres around you. So, chosen one, Grasp this essential, core principle. The incredible power that resides deep within your being was never intended to remain dormant or hidden. Its sole purpose is to ruthlessly dismantle everything manipulative, weak, and ultimately fake that surrounds you. When you make the conscious choice to fully activate this internal power, even the most violent storms will obey its command. Even acts of cruel betrayal will inevitably fold and collapse. Even the ones who believed they held ultimate control over you will suddenly and chillingly realize that they never truly did. The only real, consequential battlefield in your life was never located externally. It was, is, and always will be internal. And now that you have made the bold, sovereign choice to intentionally rise from within that internal space, no weapon or plot formed against you stands even the slightest chance of success. Allow them the space to watch. Let them whisper their inconsequential gossip. You have absolutely no need for their shallow validation. You are the vibration that commands attention, and, chosen one, that is the purest definition of power. You must immediately stop measuring the depth of your power using their arbitrary, fleeting standards. To do so is to guarantee you will perpetually live with the false, nagging feeling that you are fundamentally lacking something important. The world eagerly hands you a concept of power that is, upon closer inspection, nothing more than a highly polished, glittering illusion. Their idea of success is defined by expensive, fast cars, tailor-made designer suits, a screaming legion of social media followers, and rooms full of cheap, hollow applause. Their objective is simple. They desperately want you chasing maximum visibility, not seeking genuine, quiet authority. They prefer that you are loud and attention-seeking rather than deeply impactful and transformative. They want you thoroughly drained by the chase rather than dangerously focused and potent. But chosen one, you were never meant to meekly bow down to their superficial, external definition of greatness. Their version of power is, by its very nature, external, and that is precisely why it is always unstable and easily taken away. The instant the bright external lights are cut off, they instantly crumble under the scrutiny of reality. The moment the attention and shallow praise fade, their relevance collapses. They are dangerously addicted to the sensation of being seen, but are secretly and utterly terrified of the possibility of being truly known. Because they know that if people could somehow see past the glitter, they would find only a profound emptiness, a deep well of insecurity, and a great deal of noise that utterly lacks any meaningful depth or substance. And here is the critical pivot point where you completely flip the entire game on its head. You have zero need for an external spotlight to be genuinely powerful. You are the unstoppable storm operating with calculated precision behind the curtain. Your sheer, unannounced presence is your immediate influence. Your profound silence is a deliberate and effective warning shot. While they are exhausting themselves desperately trying to trend on a feed, you are being transformed into the next, higher version of yourself. Authentic power is not a costume you choose to wear or a title you inherit. It is a core force you intentionally activate. It is perfectly expressed in your unwavering calm when everyone else expects and demands chaos. It is resident in your complete stillness when they are frantically trying to provoke a desperate reaction from you. It is demonstrated in your perfect self-control when they are attempting to lure you out of character and into their drama. That is the moment they realize your power is not a shallow commodity flowing from the outside in. It is a powerful, self-sustaining torrent that flows exclusively from the inside out. The most profound and dangerous type of power is never loud or boastful. It has no need whatsoever to announce its arrival. It simply walks into a space, and the entire room, and every person in it, is forced to immediately adjust to its higher, more potent frequency. So, never chase their fleeting standards, their shallow noise, or their cheap, temporary crowns. You were never designed to compete in their messy circus. You were born to reign in silence with substance. Let them remain in their perpetual, desperate cycle of chasing external validation and applause. You have already, with focused intention, activated your unique, powerful vibration, and that chosen one is the definitive attribute that makes you completely untouchable and unassailable. Remember the story of David. He did not achieve victory because of external armor. He conquered because of unshakable inner belief. Never, ever underestimate the profound, shattering force that a focused inner belief can unleash. Real power has no need for heavy external armor. It only requires absolute internal precision and unwavering focus. The external world told you to put on a suit of armor, to follow the predictable, safe route, and to simply blend in with the large crowd. But the one factor they never accounted for was that you didn't require their temporary, external armor. You were fundamentally constructed with something far more lethal, durable, and transformative: unshakable inner belief. You have been conditioned to accept the lie that power must adopt a specific, aggressive appearance: loud, always aggressive, and covered in expensive gold or defensive armor. But real, potent power moves with a profound lightness. It moves silently, and its origin is always deep from within. This is why a figure like David did not win his battle with a conventional military weapon. He won using the combination of perfect precision, laser-like focus, and a will that was rooted in unbreakable belief. A mere slingshot in his hand, yes, but it was the belief in his mind that instantly dropped a powerful giant. That is the precise, sovereign energy you carry with you right now. Every single person who chose to underestimate your potential expected you to arrive with loud, obvious tools, massive money, sudden fame, impressive muscles, or strong political connections. But instead, you calmly showed up with quiet, profound confidence, a deeply calculated vision, and a determined will that absolutely refuses to fold under pressure. And this is precisely what shook them to their core. You did not walk into your personal battle looking aggressive and dangerous. You walked in with the silent, self-assured knowledge of being dangerous. No need for a theatrical performance, no sign of panic, only pure, quiet purpose. And the raw truth is that belief, focused and unyielding, is the most deadly, transformative weapon you can possibly hold. When you deeply believe in your own internal power, your mere presence has the ability to shift the energy of entire rooms. When you profoundly believe in your unique purpose, opportunities and doors begin to open without you even having to knock. And when you believe in your absolute ability to rise and ascend, even massive, formidable giants will fall simply trying to slow your momentum. So, stop constantly second-guessing your profound strength simply because it doesn't look loud or conventionally aggressive. Power is not always about domination. It is primarily about direction. The most dangerous, world-changing individuals are not always the ones encased in the heaviest armor. They are the ones who are unfailingly accurate and focused. Chosen one, you were not born into this world to look, sound, or act like the rest of the people. You were born with the explicit ability to win differently. And when you consciously choose to fully activate that deep belief within you, massive mountains will be moved, giants will collapse, and all your self-doubt will instantly dissolve. You have zero need for armor when your belief system hits the world with the force of spiritual thunder. You must stop minimizing this concept by thinking of it as just spiritual talk. This power is a practical, disruptive force that breaks real life chains and obstacles. Far too many people hear powerful, transformative words like inner power, alignment, or energy, and immediately roll their eyes, dismissing it all as nothing more than poetic, ethereal fluff. But here is the uncompromising, hard truth. Those exact same individuals are perpetually stuck in the same destructive cycles, repeatedly suffering the same failures, and continuously haunted by the same invisible chains they stubbornly claim don't even exist. This is not merely talk. This is a blueprint for radical, sustained transformation. Real, undeniable power, the kind carried by the chosen ones, is not loud or showy, but it is always undeniably felt. It never reveals itself through outward showmanship or grand, verbal declarations. It reveals its true presence the moment you survive an event that, by all logic, should have ended you entirely. It is evident when you calmly and cleanly walk away from deliberate manipulation without feeling any need for revenge or vindication. It clearly shows up when your composed, strategic silence completely exposes their lies with greater volume than your actual voice ever could. If you want to know the true, tangible reality of this power, look closely at your own life. Observe how many subtle traps and plots you have successfully avoided. Consider all the betrayals that did not break you, but instead honed your discernment. Look at how many times you were absolutely counted out by others, and yet how many times you still triumphantly rose. That series of events is not a string of coincidences. That is your undeniable internal power in constant motion. The very chains they meticulously tried to bind you with, you have now forged into your spiritual armor. The negative label they attempted to assign you, you have boldly transformed into your personal banner of triumph. This is not some abstract, dreamy self-help concept. This is a real, measurable force that aggressively dismantles negative generational patterns, effortlessly snaps the suffocating rope of self-doubt, and can instantly silence entire rooms the moment your energy walks in. Your unique energy alone possesses the capability to radically shift dynamics. You do not have to fight for control of the environment. You are the control. Yet, some will inevitably continue to mock this power because they cannot, for the life of them, feel what you feel. They have never truly seen what you have witnessed. And, most importantly of all, they have never had the deep internal courage to become what you are now undeniably becoming. The time for playing small is over. The time for intentional movement is now. You were never intended to timidly tiptoe around minor trouble or major conflict. You were not created to shrink, diminish, or make yourself small in the presence of chaos or evil, nor were you meant to play a passive, limited role in life. Your design mandate was to walk directly through it, head held high, your spirit unshakable, and your internal energy flowing, unstoppable. While others are instantly paralyzed by fear or quickly choose to flee a difficult situation, you consciously choose to step forward with assurance because you understand a fundamental truth that escapes them. Darkness ceases to be a threat the moment your inner light is fully alive and active. This world will try every trick in the book to convince you that the safest, most logical option is to simply blend in, to completely avoid any form of conflict, and to consistently bend yourself so that you don't risk breaking under pressure. But this is the tactic they exclusively use to control the powerless masses, not the chosen. The very moment you begin to bow to the paralyzing energy of fear, you have voluntarily surrendered your internal crown and authority. And chosen one, you did not come here merely to hand over anything of value. You came here with the divine purpose to reclaim everything. The individuals who attempted to intimidate and control you with their petty shadows are now trembling because you absolutely and unconditionally refused to fold or compromise. You did not choose a convenient detour around the problem. You dominated it with your presence and focus. You did not waste energy praying for the massive storm to suddenly end. You consciously chose to become the stable, silent force who confidently walked through the heart of the storm without even flinching. That is the fundamental difference between merely surviving a moment and actively ruling your domain. They seek easy cover from the elements. You choose to take absolute command of the elements. Darkness is designed to test the resolve of everyone it encounters. But it only reserves its deepest, most profound respect for those who refuse to back down, for those who rise up and look it directly in the eye. It respects the one who is truly unbreakable, the one whose resolve is steady, the person who can walk directly through an intense fire and cause the actual flames to flicker and waver with genuine self-doubt. And let us be perfectly clear, the enemy never truly wanted you to fight back effectively. They only ever wanted your complete and immediate surrender. They desperately wanted you to remain passive, polite, and thoroughly powerless. But here you stand, still constantly rising, still strategically moving forward. And now, you are literally walking directly over every single thing they once utilized to control, manipulate, or limit you. You do not retreat from the darkness. You do not humbly kneel before it. Your core purpose is to trample it underfoot with the power of your unwavering conviction. Chosen one, you must recognize that the relentless attacks you have endured were not random, chaotic events. They were consistently rehearsed, carefully calculated, and perfectly timed to inflict maximum damage. They were never about the person you superficially appeared to be on the surface, but were always about the powerful force you were steadily becoming beneath the surface. And that is the exact reason why they came at you with such unrelenting ferocity. The enemy is a strategist. They simply do not waste their ammunition on a target that poses absolutely no threat to their control. Stop wasting your precious energy asking why they gossiped, betrayed you, lied, or backstabbed you. Stop asking why people made calculated attempts to twist your narrative or isolate you. The single most important question you should be asking yourself is this: why were they so utterly terrified of your potential presence in the first place? The crucial moment you began to successfully elevate your being quietly, steadily, and intentionally, the spiritual alarms in the enemy's camp went into immediate overdrive. The instant you ceased chasing their external, empty validation, something deep inside your being triggered an immediate and profound cosmic response. This is because your personal evolution means their control system is now entirely gone. Their carefully constructed illusions have been shattered, and the only remaining strategic option for them was to declare an all-out war. But here is the stunning plot twist they were totally unprepared for. Their pressure activated your power. They were utterly convinced that the intense fire of conflict would destroy you permanently. Instead, it only refined your character. They believed the silence and isolation would crush your spirit. Instead, it only sharpened your focus and discernment. They were sure that your losses and setbacks would break your will. Instead, they only served to make you strategically and spiritually more dangerous. And now, the enemy is in a state of profound confusion because, after every single plot they threw at you, you are still standing. You are not just standing, you are aggressively rising. Chosen one, stop viewing the spiritual warfare you have faced as some form of personal punishment. Begin to interpret it as a definitive confirmation of your purpose. Every single time chaos made an appearance, it was the universe's way of confirming you were walking into entirely new, more elevated territory. Every perceived delay was the system frantically trying to stall a threat it simply could not decode or neutralize. You were never the helpless victim in these situations. You were always the chosen weapon. Your immense power has no requirement to be loud or boastful. It only needs to be activated and intentionally used. And at this point in your journey, it is far too late for them to successfully put the lid back on the force that has been dramatically unleashed inside of you. So, the next time you feel the sensation of being under a calculated attack, do not panic. Simply smile. It means your light has perfectly hit the target. It means your energy has powerfully disrupted their manipulation. It means you are exponentially closer to your next level than you even realize. They tried desperately to scare you into absolute silence, but they only succeeded in violently waking up the version of you they prayed would forever remain asleep. You profoundly terrify them, and that is the only reason you must relentlessly keep moving forward.